Hello. Hi, ladies. Happy Thursday to everyone, and I hope everyone is having a wonderful Thursday. I am. In a few minutes, I'm going to take off and go to lunch and have a beautiful liquid lunch with someone I love and stuff and have a good time. And but I'm coming to you this Thursday because, well, first I wanted to answer some questions from a reader who wanted to know a couple of things about me. But in answering the questions, I'm going to talk about something that kind of goes off of what I was talking about yesterday about sooner or later and how some men are really waiting way, way later to get married and way, way later. And women are seeming to want to be married a little bit earlier. And I just was wondering about the phenomenon and what's been happening and how this all kind of came about. Although women are ending up marrying later, I'm thinking women are wanting to get married earlier, but men are waiting later and later and later, and are seeming to have a lot more influence on how the relationship between them and women kind of progresses, which is really different than it was previously. Women had a lot more influence, although they didn't know it, on how a relationship progressed. But now we've given that all up to men and given all our feminine power away to men, and men are dictating how things are going to work. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and answer some questions that someone had, and it'll lead into kind of talking more about men and women and how this, what are the signs and the signals that women can look for regarding men who are really serious about a commitment and stuff like that. My husband and I, as you probably all know and have read, if you've read this blog from the beginning, or you can go back and find out, my husband and I met online. And I recommend online as a resource for anyone who wants to date. And it's just one resource of many. I wouldn't just use online only. That's not smart, but it's one resource you definitely need to figure out how to use and how to use correctly, because there's a way to use online dating, and I think most women don't know and end up with a lot of heartache, heartbreak, drama, and all that kind of stuff because they really aren't using online dating correctly. But I don't think most women are even going into real life knowing how to date correctly, and so they just bring those bad skills into online and then end up with a lot of drama there. But what I'm uh what I'm saying here is that my husband and I met online. And when we met, it was an ad that I put out and he responded to. I was not at first when I first started doing online, I didn't really know anything about online dating, so a lot of the information that you all get about, in dating for dumbasses and all that sort of stuff is stuff I had to learn the hard way because I didn't know anything about online dating. I never online dated previously, and after the breakup of my marriage and everything, previous to that, I the last time I dated was like in the late 90s, and online wasn't really a big thing, so I didn't really know how to kind of finagle that road. So, and I didn't, I wasn't a person that read books and articles. I wasn't looking deep in on the internet for information and stuff like that. So some things I did incorrectly at first. I would go out and I would try to talk to guys first and wink at guys, and try to holler at men first, which always ended up with me ending up with my feelings hurt, or some guy trying to play me and stuff. So after a while, I decided, well, I'm putting the information out there, and if he wants to say something, he can say something. And my husband came after me. I put the ad on there, and I put what it was that I wanted, and I was very clear and concise about that. Said that very succinctly, and then I was done. I put some stuff on there about me, but I didn't really need to put a bunch of information. If you really want to know me, you should get in contact with me, and then we could talk, and you can know me better and stuff. But I'm not putting out all my information to you on some online thing. But I did put out what I wanted from the guy and stuff, and that was pretty succinct. and there were certain things that I wanted, and then I knew how to vet for those once I got in contact. And so my husband got in contact with me, and I vetted him, and we did some kind of emailing back and forth. I wasn't really comfortable giving people my phone number and stuff, so we emailed back and forth, and I asked questions, and he asked questions, and all this sort of stuff, and we just went back and forth, and got to know each other. And I met him within a week. Like I say, I don't wait longer. I didn't wait longer than a week because I knew waiting longer than a week and having a guy kind of juggle you around for a week or so just meant that he was just dating other women, and dating a lot of other women and stuff, and he was just trying to put you as part of the harem. So I would recommend that you not do that you not wait more than a week, because you just want to kind of see, are you attracted to the person, when you see them, do you have something interesting to talk about and stuff like that. And if not, you can just move on your way. No time for you to get attached to people, talking to folks for days and days and days and getting attached to people, and then when you meet them, you find out, well, they don't really like you, or you don't really like them and stuff, and then it's just you waste time. You've wasted time. Okay, please know that your time is precious. I wish people would think your time is actually precious. Okay, and you don't need to be wasting it on people that aren't what you are seeking in a mate and stuff. So I went, and we went out on a date, and I think it was a Saturday night. Yeah, I think it was a Saturday night. It was a Saturday night date, and we went out, and we met, and it was not, like I say, it was not a big time date. We didn't do the big time date first date. I don't do that first dates for online. That's also a waste of your time because you might be stuck with somebody all night long that you don't like and stuff. So we went out, and we had coffee, and then found that we sort of liked each other and stuff. And we spent a good part of the that evening together and stuff, talking and stuff, and getting to know each other until finally I was, going home, and he gives me a hug and everything, and he doesn't try to kiss me. He just gives me a hug, and then I go on my way. And I thought, well, when he didn't try to kiss me, well, maybe he didn't like me. So I was just like, oh, but he was making plans. He was telling me, oh, I'd like for us to go out to dinner. Why don't we go out to dinner and blah blah blah. And when he did kiss me, I thought, oh yeah, whatever and stuff. I wasn't even worried about it. I was like, yeah, whatever, and stuff. And I was like, yeah, sure, we can go out to dinner and everything, just hey, and by then I'd given him my phone number. I was like, hey, just give me a call and stuff. Well, he did give me a call. In like 1 or 2 days, he gave me a call. And he arranged for us to go out to dinner. And we met again. We didn't meet. I let him come to my house because I was still cautious about people coming to my house. You don't let people come to your house with online dating. You really do have to get to know them. So we met again. We drove and met at the same place, and we met and we went out again. And we were talking and having having a good time, and just doing a lot of great stuff, and stuff. And then it just sort of fell into itself really naturally. That's the best I can say for our relationship. It was very organic. It fell into itself very naturally and stuff. And it wasn't something that was, that anybody had to force, or I had to feel awkward about, or he had to feel awkward about and stuff. And after a while, after dating, going out on dates, and I was dating someone else at the same time too, and I was just trying to figure out who was serious. Of the two, he was the most serious. He was the most in pursuit, and he was the one that was trying to go out with me and impress me, and we were talking and all this stuff, and then we finally talked about seeing each other exclusively and stuff, because that's a conversation you should have. You should never just go in and assume, oh yeah, we're girlfriend and boyfriend and stuff. No, no, no. You need to have a conversation about exclusivity and stuff. And we had a conversation about being exclusive and actually dating and being in a girlfriend boyfriend relationship. And that's when I got rid of everybody else, and stuff. And then we started dating. Well, well, maybe 4 to 5 months in, he was talking about, and this is where the signal spark comes in for the ladies. He started talking about future stuff. being married, oh, I've been really wanting to be married and all this stuff, and I'm really wanting to have and I mean marriage, not just I want to have a long-term relationship. I want or be committed to someone. I want to be married. And so he started talking about marriage, and I had been divorced, so I wasn't really, I'm not gonna lie, when I started dating him, I wasn't even thinking about marrying him. I was just like, and stuff. And he started talking about marriage and how he wanted to be, and he wanted to be married, and he wanted to find somebody, who was be a good wife, and blah blah blah, and all this stuff. And he starts talking future. Ladies, that's one of your biggest and easiest signals to know that you have a serious relationship on your hand. The man starts talking about future. Oh, when we do this. Oh, when we go on this vacation, and when we do this, and he always uses we. He never uses I. He always uses we. Yeah, when you and I do this, and what about this, and do you like living here, and would you like this side of the house, and and all sorts of stuff. He starts talking about you all as a future couple and talking about marriage at the same time. And it kind of shocked me because from everything that's been told to women and the lies that have been told to women is that somehow men don't want to get married and men don't. But that's not true. There's lots of men who do want to be married and stuff. They're just looking for the right woman to marry, and so and I don't think men who really aren't interested or don't really think that the woman is right for them, they don't talk about marriage because they don't want her to get all giddy and excited when he's thinking I'm not going to marry you and stuff. And so the guy will start talking about marriage and commitment and and stuff. And so he was just, I mean, months and months we would go by, we would have deep conversations about marriage and commitment and things we want to do in the future. And since, I, like many other women, had been duped into thinking that men didn't want to be committed, I was shocked. I was surprised that he talked so openly about this and without shame. But ladies, you need to know this. If a man really, really, really wants you, he wants to be your husband, he wants to, have you as his wife, believe me, he's trying to lock you down fast. Okay, he's not trying to wait and have some other dude come in here and usurp his territory. He's trying to lock you down. He is not waiting no 5, 10 years to try to do all that. You don't have to convince him to marry you or nothing. He wants to do that. Okay, he's making plans and talking about plans with you about marriage and family and do you want kids and blah 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 and all this stuff. And within at least 1 to 2 years, I'm giving it 1 to 2. 2 is pushing it, but 1 to 2 years, he's asked you to marry him. He's got the ring and he's asked you to marry him. If you're waiting 5, 6, 7 years, he's not talking about marriage. He hasn't said anything about marriage. You're talking about marriage. He's ignoring you. Oh, well, I don't want to talk about that right now. And all this stuff. Really, you're about to be girlfriend material forever. And you shouldn't have to convince somebody to marry you. Okay? That's not what it's about. You shouldn't have to beg somebody to marry you. And you shouldn't waste your time. If you want to be married, say you want to be married. A year in, you should be, if you want to be married, you should be talking about that. I don't know why women think, oh well, if I don't say anything, somehow the marriage bug is going to hit him, or he's going to get it through osmosis or something, and he's going to figure out, oh well, I really do want to be married to her. Oh, and then, but women also need to watch out about playing house, because a lot of men, really, if you do everything for him that a wife would do, and he doesn't have to make you his wife, really, that's really easy for him, then he's not going to. Okay, if you do everything there is to do for him, everything, you wash his clothes, you go over there and cook, you do all this stuff, you sex him down, you're doing everything a wife is doing without without the benefits of actually being a wife, then really it makes no sense for him to make you a wife. Why? You've already compromised yourself. You've already compromised you've already compromised your own standards to be with him. And that's what many women do, because they're so afraid to lose men that they compromise themselves in their standards. Now, to tell you the truth, like I say, I wasn't really thinking about being married. Having been divorced, I was really like, whatever. and stuff. But by the time it come around, the year had passed, he had really convinced me, and I really fell in love with him, and felt like, oh my God, I could really marry this man. This is the man of my dreams. I don't want him to get away. So when he asked me to marry him, I wasn't, I didn't stop, I didn't pass go, I didn't collect $200. I just said yes, because I wasn't looking to give horse in the mouth. And too many people do that. They overthink things and all that stuff. You've got a great, wonderful man who's proved himself time and time again. Really, what are you thinking about? Thinking about what? And stuff. You need to just say yes, and go ahead and marry this gentleman. And if people, for the first 3 months or so, you're getting a representative, but after that, you're really getting a real person. And if people are proving themselves to be the things that you need for them to be over and over again, it's unfair for women to ask men to jump through hoops of fire for the rest of their lives. That's overkill. Okay, it's too much and stuff. So if you vetted him out and he's what you want and he's wanting to marry you, you don't need to sit and think and ask a bunch of girlfriends and blah blah. I wouldn't ask nobody, because there's too many people that don't want to see you happy. Or may not want to see you happy, that you're not sure of. Well, girl, I don't know. He is, and I don't know. And they nitpicking and stuff. Because he's not perfect, and trying to convince you somehow you don't need to be married or whatever. It's that the decision is yours. You're the one that's going to have to live with him and be married to him, not them. And so it doesn't matter. And so, when he asked me that, I was already in love with him. He was already a wonderful man. And so I just said yes. But the thing is, the signals come because men talk about those things. And they talk about what it is that they want to bring to you as a husband and as a married couple. They talk about marriage and all that sort of stuff. That's the way you have somebody that's wanting to marry you. Now, if he does that within the first 2 weeks, I would be freaked out. And if the girl starts talking about marriage in the first 2 weeks or within the first conversation, I'd be freaked out by that too. But if you're in a relationship 6, 7, 8 months, a year down the line, and people still aren't saying anything about marriage, people still are acting like, well, it's all good. We're still like, girlfriend and boyfriend, and we can be like this forever, and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, that's too long. That's too long. You're wasting time. Ladies, time is of the essence. It is not our friend. Okay, you don't have time to waste with people who don't want the things that you want, and you don't need to convince them to want it. Okay, just find somebody else that does want it, and stuff. So, I'm just saying this to kind of let people know a little bit about signals, a little bit about signs, a little bit about how things happen between my husband and myself and stuff, and how surprised, a little bit surprised I was that, he was, he wanted to be committed. But when I met my husband, he was 34. So, I think about that time, a lot of guys are thinking, I'm ready to be, and I think he wanted to be married. He was engaged to someone previously, but they really didn't want to be married to him, and he ended up staying in an engagement for a long time and stuff, when he probably shouldn't have and stuff. But you have to understand that there are signs that a guy is wanting to make a life with you and stuff. And hey, don't be too freaked out about it. If that's what you want, then you're getting exactly what you want, and stuff. If that's not what you want, don't have this poor dude hanging on with you forever. If you don't want to be married and stuff, don't have this poor guy hanging on with you forever and stuff. If you know you don't want to be married, if you're really positively sure you don't want to be married. Me, myself, I wasn't positive, I wasn't negative, I wasn't positive, I wasn't just kind of trying to, figure it out and stuff. But if you know that that's not what you want, and this guy really is, wanting to be married and wanting to have a family and all that sort of stuff, don't keep him hanging on, for the rest of his life or for a long time, wasting time with you. And you're not really within the goals. You're not really within the same goals in your life. It's okay, and stuff. At some point, you may not ever want to be married. That's okay too. But at some point, you may decide you want to and stuff, and then you'll be able to find somebody. I know people are so convinced that they'll never find someone to marry. There are millions of people in the world. You'll find somebody, okay? Somebody will come along, and stuff. It's not like the last good one got away and stuff. Somebody will come along, and you'll be able to find somebody who is marriage material and perfect for you. So I just wanted to, give out that little information. It's just a little tidbit, and I hope that everyone has a really good rest of the week and weekend, because this is probably my last vlog of the week. And I don't know, I may have another vlog, and I don't know, it's just, I guess, what to do. I got a retirement party to go to for my mom. So I'll talk to everybody later on. You all have a good rest of the week, and peace and love and joy and blessings to you all. All right, bye-bye.